So I've been here already for 6 months. You've been here for a year and a half.
A year and a half, yeah.
That's
Almost
very
halfway
long,
done.
So what has it been like, studying and living in the UK?
Ah.
Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Quite weird, isn't it?
No, why is it weird?
It's your channel and
It's-
I'm the host. I am Shafiq. I'm currently studying in the University of Manchester in accounting and finance. Now moving on to my guest today with the one and only, the owner of the channel, Mrs. Shafia.
Hi.
She's back.
Hi, I'm Shafia. I'm a second year student, currently still at Lancaster University. We've decided to come up with this little video for you guys
Yes.
in the form of a podcast. It's our first time.
Is it random?
It's a bit random because none of us have ever done this before.
This podcast has a purpose. It's not just sembang kosong.
It's not just sembang kosong.
I prepared some questions for you.
Oh wow.
I did some research. Okay? I scrolled down on some of your comments on the YouTube video, on the comment section,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys have a lot of questions. So I put it into a flow type of
Interview style?
interview style.
Okay.
I think let's dive into it. Shall we?
Let's dive into it.
The first question that I prepared for you is, what made you want to study here in the UK?
Well, there is definitely a lot of factors to consider when you want to choose somewhere to study. I feel like if I were to talk about all of the factors, that would be like a lot. This would be like a 2-hour video. Too long. But the first thing that comes to mind is the education in the UK, the quality of education that they provide in the UK. If you look back at the world rankings, like the top, is it 100 universities?
Yeah.
Like 16% of them are universities in the UK. And I was like considering all of these options. I wanted to be a part of the student life here. I wanted to, really experience the academic life. Once I did come here, there was like this kind of expectation versus reality. I came here and I knew that it would be different, but I had like quite a hard time adapting to it. Remember like all the sad calls. The thing about their education style or their education,
for the universities.
for the universities is that they really focus and emphasize on independent learning and research. You did not know this?
Tell me more.
Okay, they really encourage you to branch out of the information that they give.
Okay.
And they want you to find information for yourself. If you go on for me, I have like this Moodle page where for every week you have like these key readings that you have to go through. Yeah. Do you not know this?
I know this, but
You don't do it?
I don't do it.
You have key readings as well, obviously.
I have a lot of key readings.
A lot of key readings. They have key readings and optional readings. You have to read all of them.
It's not an optional
It's
thing.
not an optional. Even though it says optional, if you want to excel, you need to read it. When you really put an effort into reading these articles, these journals, and you do these independent learning, this is when you realize that this is how you move forward.
Okay, it makes sense now.
In the education here.
I think it's more beneficial in the long run.
Yes, definitely beneficial in the the long
Because you're
run.
studying in your own way. Although
Yeah.
it is not as fast, but when you study in your own way, it sticks onto your brain longer, I think.
They definitely don't spoon feed you.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things about the education here. So yeah, that's what I would say is one of the initial reasons why I wanted to study here is definitely the education. This is a fascinating story. When I wanted to go into mass communications,
Okay.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. Well, all I knew is that I wanted to
Mass
go mass comm. I just wanted to do mass comm.
Okay.
But the more I did research, I realized that I wanted to go into media.
I remember
Yeah.
the first time we discovered, there's so many
Things. I
Yeah.
remember I showed you for each course in media, they have so many different classes.
Yeah.
I was so excited about it. Even for a very broad course, mass communications, media, they have different courses depending on the universities you want to take. So, for instance, there could be 5 universities. All 5 of them will be offering you bachelors in media and communications, for instance. But each one of the courses has a different course structure.
Okay.
Yeah, so I looked at LSE, London School of Economics. They offer you bachelor's in media. It was a more political side of media because
makes
it's
sense, makes
LSE, right? So then I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Maybe like other options have different course structures. So that's when I went to see Lancaster's course structures, and I realized that for Lancaster, the media is more on like the artistic side. That was when I realized that like I really want to go to the UK now, because like there's just so much options that I can choose from. I macam rambang mata.
It seems like you know a lot about the range of programs in the UK.
Yeah.
How do you know all of this?
How do I know?
Yeah.
I did a lot of independent research. Obviously, when you're planning to do something like studying abroad, a lot of research is necessary. The thing that helped me the most was definitely to go through the university websites individually. It's easy to navigate through these kind of websites, and on these websites you can see all of the information that they give, and they like already list out the cost structure for you
By department, by the way.
by department.
Very
So
efficient.
they tell you the fees, the course structures, they tell you what you're going to be learning,
The entry requirement.
the entry requirements, what the career paths could be. It's like really
Yeah.
informative. Even if you have like no idea of what you're going to learn, they like describe it to you year by year. So year 1, this is what you're going to learn, and then all of the following years
It's really
after
fun
that.
to look at.
It's really fun because it gets you excited.
Yeah, manifest.
Manifesting, yeah. It makes you like kind of eager to start planning ahead after that.
remember, like, in my second year studying IB,
Mhm.
I was scrolling through the
Yeah,
university
all the
website
time.
just to get the
The
energy.
yeah, it's a really good place to start the university websites, I think.
I think also it's important to note that, for example, if by any chance you do not receive any extra information from the websites, you can always contact them.
Yeah, yes, definitely. They reply super fast. Besides the
Working out?
the time difference.
It's no longer than 2 days, I think.
Yeah. So you get your reply really fast. So it makes the process a lot more smoother lah.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
You seem to get a lot of information via universities, either by their websites or communicating to them. How about some extra information? Wait, I'm sorry, my voice ngau sikit. About
Why you sengau? Extra
for me,
information.
For me, I go to a lot of vlogs.
Vlogs. I know you
Daily
watch
life
so
of a
much
Manchester
vlogs.
student. How about you, Shafia? Because I know you're a content creator.
I
You're
mean,
not gonna watch other people's vlogs.
oh, why? Mana ada? I mean, vlogs are good. They're good for the energy.
Yeah.
But information-wise, sometimes vlogs, they kind of lack a bit. Actually, remember that website that we talked about like a few weeks ago? Like the one that you... what is it? British Council?
The Study UK.
Study UK British Council.
Yeah.
And we talked about how like you used it for your preparation.
Yeah.
And I was quite bummed about it because I didn't use it when I was planning for my studying abroad. Do you want to maybe share with the people?
Yeah. They actually can guide you macam how you want to compare the universities,
Compare
the
universities,
location, the cost structure,
the ranking,
ranking,
how to understand the
and the
rankings.
cost of living of a particular area.
Yeah, that's actually a lot of very, very, very informational things there.
Yeah.
I think if you're someone that's just starting to plan and you kind of know what to do but you don't really know what to do, going through British Council's Study UK website is like a good start, because a good starting point, because it just makes you understand things a bit more clearer.
Only for comparing universities, there's like scholarship funding.
I didn't know about that.
Visas as well.
Visa, they explain the visas there.
Yeah, the visa steps. So I think it's a very beneficial place. I'm very sorry, this is my first time, by the way. Upon knowing all of these information from the websites, from Study UK, how did you apply?
How did I apply? That is a whole process on its own, right? Long story short, before applying for universities, you need to have a few things ready. Your IELTS results.
Not just IELTS, by the way. It could be any other English qualification
Yes.
certificate.
If you don't know what IELTS is, basically IELTS is like an English qualification exam.
Yeah.
You need to take it, and depending on what the requirements are for the universities or maybe your scholarships, you'll have to get a certain band, is it?
I
A
guess.
certain band. Next thing you need is a personal statement.
Oh,
Remember your
I remember.
Remember
I have
writing
like
yours?
11 drafts. I think.
you had to rewrite yours a few times, right?
Yeah.
I think I just sent my first draft and I was
I
like,
don't know what accounting and finance is.
basically a personal statement is like this essay
Yeah.
promoting yourself to this
Bigging up
university.
yourself.
Yeah. So applying on for the universities,
Mm.
that would be on UCAS.
On UCAS.
So would you like to explain what UCAS is?
It's like a standardized system. For UCAS, you can apply only up to 5 uni, but you can receive
All
offers
5.
from all 5 of them conditionally.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick which one is my firm and insurance. Firm is your first choice and insurance is your second choice. So basically, if you get to meet your firm conditional
Mm-hmm.
offer, you go to the firm lah. But if you don't get the firm,
You get
but
your
you
insurance.
you get to insurance. But if you get both, you meet both, you go to firm because it's your first choice.
Yeah. So basically, that is a very brief summary of the UCAS application.
We also forget to mention that UCAS also have an application fee.
Yeah, it does.
But if you are like us, we are applying through an agent.
Yes.
In Malaysia,
Student service
yeah,
agent.
student service agent. They will apply it for you, and it is free.
But this is just extra information for those that maybe don't want to use agents. They want to do it themselves. Then you have to be aware that there is an application fee for using UCAS.
After you receive the offer from both Manchester and Lancaster, what did you do?
What did I do?
Let me see.
I celebrate lah. What else I do? What is there to do?
What were your next steps to prepare for studying?
Okay.
Betul sangat lah dia.
After I got the offer letter, obviously I celebrated as one does. But after that, there's still a few things that you need to do. It doesn't end there, sadly. One of the things was to go for my medical checkup for tuberculosis. TB. It's compulsory. You
Yeah.
have to take that medical checkup.
Because your visas require a TB checkup.
Yes, for I think it's for UK lah. For other countries, I'm not sure. It does come with a fee,
Yeah.
so do check how much that is. Again, if you have an agent, they will tell you,
Mm.
but they won't pay for that one lah.
Yeah.
You pay it for yourself that one. But after you get your TB certificate, you are ready to apply for your visa. You pay for your visa, basically. You pay for your health insurance, and then you get your visa done. How long the visa takes?
It is really up to the traffic.
Up to the traffic. It can take up to 2
If
weeks.
you need to take priority lane,
Then consider it lah.
it's an option.
I would suggest definitely having like this designated amount of time for you to prepare and apply for your visa, because that is the one thing that will take up a bit more time, and it will be stressful if you do it last minute. After your visa application, what's next after visa? You remember?
Beli flight ticket.
Buy the tickets.
Buy the ticket flight. But you need to make sure that the day of on your flight, your visa is already valid, or else
Yeah.
you are not going to go anywhere.
Betul.
Yeah.
Another really important thing to take note is that you need to, in the midst of preparing, find a house.
Yeah.
Find a place to stay lah, basically. There's this thing where universities have certain housing agents
Yeah.
that are trustworthy under the universities. So before you check random houses, make sure you check your university's website and make sure it's trusted. Because if anything happens, you can always contact your university first before anything lah. This is just to prevent you from getting like scammed or, sampai UK and you're homeless.
Yeah.
That's scary.
That's very scary.
Very, very scary. I think your experience with finding a house, quite similar.
Quite similar.
Did you find it through student lettings?
I found it through my seniors.
Okay,
So yeah, you can also ask your seniors if you have any staying here. Shout out Umar Ghaffar.
seniors, Malaysian seniors here in the
Malaysian
UK.
seniors, and
Okay.
They helped me with the house viewing.
See,
Yes.
yours is a lot better because
to ensure no scam or anything, because we are dealing a huge amount of money.
yeah, definitely.
But if you don't want to stay in a house, student accommodation is also an
Ah,
option.
yes, definitely.
In the UK, they actually prioritize student accommodation for
International
international
students.
first year students.
They have like a quota basically
Yeah.
for international students because obviously they don't want their international students to not have a house.
Yeah.
So you can always take student accommodations into consideration. They also have a lot of benefits,
True.
very close to campus, especially if you're in first year, you're still very, getting to know the place. Student accom would be maybe good for you. As long as you have a place to stay, You're-
You'll be fine.
good to go. So remember that for your
Yeah.
preparation as well.
It's really easy to cook Malaysian food here.
Surprisingly very easy. They have Oriental.
Yeah, and I
Could-
think because of how diverse and multicultural UK is, and how populated for us like Muslims,
Mhm.
it's really accessible to find like halal foods.
All the halal foods, all the herbs.
On the topic of halal food,
Halal food.
I know a lot of people are worried, understandable, about the accessibility of it.
Accessibility of getting halal food?
Yeah. Can you share with us about your experience with halal food here?
Halal food is, well, I mentioned just now, it's very easy to get.
Even for a small town in Lancaster, it's
Yeah.
very accessible for you guys.
We have like one halal shop. You can find halal chicken at the local grocery shops in the UK as well. So like Sainsbury's, Farm Foods, you can get halal chicken there.
I've gone to the
Asda.
Asda in Manchester, the supermarket, and there's like a halal meat section at the back. I'm like, oh, that's nice of them.
On the topic of halal food and how accessible it is, it's very accessible because UK is very multi-diverse.
Yeah. Halal food is definitely a concern among parents. You know?
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Understandable. We are
Mhm.
living outside of a Muslim country. So, what were other concerns they had about you, your parents, wanting to study abroad?
Well, specific concerns, I don't think so. But
Okay.
there's this story that I've shared with you a few times about how like my parents had different reactions and concerns
Okay.
to living in the UK. My mom was very encouraging. I would say.
It was
yeah.
your dad.
Yeah, it was my dad
Yeah.
because I think he was just kind of scared for me.
Yeah,
He was
it's understandable.
definitely concerned of how I would be able to live here alone
Mhm.
in the UK. The weather is different, the culture is different, the food is different. So I guess that was one of his biggest concerns.
And-
I think the biggest concern would just be because I'm here alone this time.
Ah,
Last time I
see.
was in the UK, it was a whole family.
Yeah.
And now I'm coming here alone. We call every other week or so, and I catch up and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing fine and everything. So they're not as concerned anymore.
And my mother called me every day.
Auntie calls him every single day.
Love you, ma.
I think she just misses you lah.
My path and your path is quite different, by the way. You are in your college and you have the options to study abroad.
Mhm.
But in the program that I'm in, we are really preparing for studying abroad. So
Yeah.
when I got the offer to get into this program, I'm not studying abroad yet, just the get into
The pre-preparation program.
Apparently, my mom apply just apply.
Mhm.
If you get it, you get it. If you don't, then it's okay, just try.
Mhm.
But when I got the offer, my mom was like, oh my god, it is real.
Your mom didn't want you to.
Yeah, then are you sure you want to study abroad? My dad knows, and he was happy that I got the offer to study abroad, but also doesn't fancy the idea.
The idea of really studying abroad.
Yeah, the real idea of studying abroad. Then I called my sister, I called my maksu, I called my paksu, and
Satu kampung.
satu kampung kita call. Then they like, oh, that's a very good offer. We as a collective,
Yeah.
as an entity, successfully encourage both of my
Parents.
to let me fly abroad. Okay, it's not that I want to go away from them. It's just that I know if I'm able to study in the UK, it will be beneficial for both parties, for me
Yeah.
and my family. So I've been here already for 6 months. You've been here for a year and a half.
A year and a half, yeah,
That's
almost
very
halfway
long.
done.
So what has it been like, studying and living in the UK?
Short answer, it's been great. I feel like the people here have been so welcoming.
I love how welcoming.
They are very, very welcoming.
My English is not as fluent as you, but the people here, as long as you understand, you have the basic English, and they understand what you're trying to say, they will treat you the same. There's no like
Discriminatory
tone.
and that really helps with your self-confidence.
Yes, a lot. I am more comfortable socializing.
On the topic of diversity, I met a lot of great friends with different backgrounds as well.
You have such a diverse group of friends, by the way.
Yeah, it's
and
so.
This is David's mic, is it?
This is David's mic. Even with such a diverse group of friends, you get to learn so much about them, but also about yourself. I mentioned about Lydia's hot pot. Remember Lydia's hot pot?
Yeah.
So I went for a hot pot with my friends.
This is very interesting.
And it was held at Lydia's house, and because they knew that I couldn't eat pork, so they didn't buy any pork for the hot pot, which is like a essential for Chinese hot pot at least. Like you have like the pork and the pork belly. I think I couldn't eat any of it, so I told them like I can come to the hot pot, but I cannot eat pork. So they said, "Oh, it's okay." So they didn't buy any pork at all, and they had like halal options for me, and they also had like other things that I could eat as well. And it was just like, it was very heartwarming for me lah, because
they didn't have to do that.
They didn't have to do that, but they wanted to, and they made me feel very comfortable as being one of their friends. And I think that's like the beauty, I guess, of being in the UK, is that you find a lot of people like that. I do hope that if you ever decide to come here or study here, that you experience a similar situation, because it's really nice.
Picking up on the local friends that you have, like Katie and Levy, the social
Sorry, excuse me.
The social gathering too, if you realize, it's quite different than the social gathering in Malaysia.
The social gatherings, do you mean like how they socialize? The nightlife here definitely is very different. For students, like local students, their nightlife consists of having a drink with friends and maybe going to local pubs or nightclubs. Even they have like student nightclubs under universities that they can go to. Yeah. I think Katie mentioned this. It's different obviously for us, but that doesn't mean that you can't socialize with people. Joining clubs, like if you're into sports, there's always sports clubs. You're into music, there's like the choir club, a cappella club.
So do you join any of them, like club societies? Hello. So yeah, we are in a different setting.
It's a bit of a technical issue.
It's okay.
Yes. On the topic of clubs and societies,
Yeah.
I personally don't really join clubs. I know I advocate to like socialize to clubs and stuff. I don't really do it that much.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you can't. It's my personal choice.
Yeah, Shafia prefer to be alone. It's not because societies are bad or anything.
Depending on like what university you go to, they offer a wide range of it. And you never know, like the people that you never thought you could be friends with, you find a similar interest with them and you end up being friends. My experience of like my friendship group, we started off from the short film production group, ended up becoming proper friends, and that was my way of socializing with them. Recently I also saw that like even our Malaysian society have held a lot of really cultural and interesting events.
How much Malaysian society?
What is wrong?
That's such a tough question.
What is wrong with you?
How much Malaysian society do you have here?
How much?
Yeah.
Just one lah.
Manchester have 3, by the way. A lot of Malaysians there.
Recently, the Lancaster Malaysian Society just held it's like a food wars event.
Food war?
Food wars event held at the
it's like basically
Great Hall, showcasing our traditional foods, and it was a collaboration event between a Malaysian society, Thailand society, Indonesian society, and a few others as well. Not only do you get to socialize with Malaysians, fellow Malaysians, even like Malaysia itself is made up of like so many different races, right?
Yes.
So you get to mingle around with different backgrounds already, but then you go to events like this and you get to experience other people's culture, and that is also a way of socializing.
There's also Malaysian games.
Malaysian games, yes. Games is
There's
a very
very
famous. Fun fact about games.
Yeah.
It was already a thing when my mum was in the UK.
Oh.
Yeah, when we were a family in Sheffield,
Yeah.
Games was already a thing, and my mum was one of the vendors jual rojak buah. Even if you don't participate or volunteer for the sports, you get to experience it and meet new people.
Yes.
Even apart from M Games, like M Night,
M9.
Malaysian Night.
I've been to two. M
He's
nights,
been
by
to
the way.
2. I've never been to a Malaysian Night, you know. It's the same concept as M Games,
Yeah.
but M Nights is more
Right,
for
theatre.
theatre and performance.
I've been to like Warwick and Manchester M9.
Yeah.
There are some local audience, by the way. It's really fun to see.
And the locals, they voluntarily buy tickets and go
Yeah.
to see that. That's one of the things about socializing here, is that it comes in so many ways. You don't have to necessarily put yourself in like a society group or anything. There's like a lot of events that you can go to. Like even for you yourself, you made friends during iftar.
Yes, I make a lot of friends during iftar. That's where I gain my confidence to socialize with the locals here.
Yeah.
Because they will so welcome. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Malaysia, man. Oh, from Malaysia. Apa khabar?
Apa khabar?
It's so nice to meet them.
So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about like joining societies. Of course you can. Just because you don't join necessarily societies doesn't mean that you won't
It's not
be able.
compulsory, but it's definitely a choice.
You doesn't mean you won't be able to make friends. I would say there's a lot of ways to make friends here.
So I'm curious to know, and again, I think many people want to know, what has it been like? Because as a student myself, it's been quite different from our home country, Malaysia.
Student experience.
Yeah.
I think if I could conclude it in one word, it would be inclusive. Obviously, I've talked about how multi-diverse it's been, but like when talking more on like the facility-wise of like the campus and what it provides for students.
We have the basics, library, study space.
Yeah, the library, the study spaces are amazing here.
Yeah, it's very
I love it so much. You know, there are certain places, study spaces that have like trees and
You know what? We
plants.
can put some pictures up.
Put some pictures of my favorite
3, 2, 1, pow!
study spaces. Apart from study spaces, they do accommodate to people in need of the extra help, disabilities,
Oh,
and like even if you walk throughout campus, I'm not sure this is like talking on behalf of all campuses. The campuses have like designated ramps,
yes. A mini elevator.
mini elevators,
Yeah.
and they have like proper elevators, so it's very easy to like navigate through the campus. It's very friendly for everyone to
Yeah.
use.
When I see that, I pop a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
They are very inclusive of the Muslim community as well. Obviously, you're living in a country that's the majority is not Muslim.
Mm-mm.
It's not the same as Malaysia, where you can find a surau, you can find a masjid.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, in the UK, you can find prayer rooms quite frequently.
Yeah.
Here alone, we have 2 separate men and women.
Speaking on the topic of being a Muslim,
Yes,
how's your experience being a Muslim here so far?
my personal experience.
Your personal experience.
Personal experience, I feel like it's been very safe. The Muslim community itself is very big, and within the community itself, they are so friendly and very welcoming as well. It's never been a problem for me being a Muslim here. It feels like a very safe environment for me. Obviously, I can't speak on behalf of everyone. Everyone has their own experiences with that, but it's just personal experience. I think it's been nothing to really worry about.
We are in the month of Ramadan.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 masjid I can go to near my house.
You have 3 masjids.
Yeah.
So Manchester's Muslim community is quite big.
It's quite strong and quite big. I always go to Furqan just to, break my fast because I want to save my money. Just kidding.
The iftar is free.
Initially, I want to save my money to break my iftar there. But then I quite enjoyed going there.
You realize.
Yeah, because I get to socialize with people. Can I put 2 of my pictures here?
Mhm.
Alhamdulillah, I met a couple of days ago a student from
Oxford.
Talked to a father of 2. It's very
Oh.
nice, and I think that what gained the confidence in me to socialize with the people in the UK.
Okay, so now we will be taking over. We're going into the rapid fire segment. Okay, so basically rapid fire segment is a segment where we choose the questions that you have sent to us via Instagram. We will be trying our best to answer these questions. So other than that, let's get into
Let's get into it. What is your monthly or daily expenses in the UK?
in a month for rent around 450. That varies, right?
250
Uh,
to 600 maybe.
Yeah, £100 for groceries for a whole month, and then anything I have after that is just like maybe savings and other things I want to buy.
Yeah, like shoes, handbags.
Shoes and handbags and everything nice. Okay, next question.
Next question. How does it feel being away from your family, in brackets homesick?
Who asked this question? It's a very sad question.
It is definitely hard at first.
Yeah, first year was hard for me because my family was in Malaysia, you were in Malaysia, so I was sad.
Next question is,
Yes.
ada bazar Ramadan tak kat sana? Short answer is no.
No.
Malaysian society do conduct, like pasar malam ke.
Like even your Malaysian society.
I think done it 2 times already. Pasar malam and warung.
Actually, you know what? I think last year London had somewhat of a bazaar Ramadan.
Every day.
It's not an everyday thing, but they held the event during Ramadan.
Oh, best places to go for holiday as a student. So budget friendly lah.
Budget friendly in the UK?
In the UK.
For me personally, I would say Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh is so nice. If you're already here in the UK and you're planning a trip, do visit Edinburgh. It feels very UK in terms of its culture, its architecture, its people.
Very much.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna gatekeep this anymore. Lake District is definitely nice. It's definitely nice. It's budget friendly. You can go in a day. You can go hiking.
Yeah, that's true. I personally love Lake District. You know how much I love Lake District, so it's like I want to gatekeep it, but at the same time, I'm happy that a lot of people are appreciating Lake District.
Next question is
Next
halal
question.
restaurant faves.
Halal restaurant faves?
It's a very good set of questions.
Okay. Why don't I say mine? You say yours?
Okay.
And then one of us together.
Okay.
My halal fave restaurant is Sultan's. They have like this sizzling chicken meal with fries and rice. It's so good. I love it so much, but I don't get to eat it every day because it's £12. Do not convert into ringgit Malaysia, how much that is. Once in a while when I get to eat it, I'm like, happy.
I see. If I want to treat myself with a good one, I go
Taiba.
to Taiba. Great fish on rice. And if you're Malaysian, you can go to Taiba. You get a free drink as well.
And ours?
Ours is 3, 2, 1.
Jollibee.
Jollibee is so nice.
Very basic answer. Oh, and another one.
What?
Another place that we like to eat.
Wait, what? 3. Wingstop.
Yes.
Oh my days.
Wingstop.
You have the money.
I know in Malaysia they don't have Wingstop, right?
Yet.
Not yet.
Wingstop, hear me out. Open a branch in Malaysia, please.
We love Wingstop.
Just eating up the chicken, breaking the bones.
Okay, we should move on.
The question is quite confusing. Okay, I'm assuming do you wear thick clothes every day or just on winter? Definitely not every day.
Not every day because most of the time, yeah. Especially during peak winter.
Yeah.
Do not make the same mistake as me because what I did masa first year, I wore layers, but all of them were thick layers. When it's time to take off your coats inside, because they have heaters inside, right? Berpeluh, sweating so much. My advice is to buy heat techs from Uniqlo, pakai, and then the outer layer is whatever sweater or cardigan you want to wear, and then a puffer coat.
Moving on to the next questions. A little bit of a serious one. They say being in the uni is already hard, but does being in the UK make it 10 times harder? Damn, the question.
Wow, who is so philosophical? Uni is hard, whether or not you are in the UK.
Yes.
You go to uni in Malaysia,
I think
it's hard.
The uni kat Malaysia ke, or even at the UK, it's just the same, just as hard. But maybe other external factors like maybe your parents being away from you.
Yeah.
And your closest friend in Malaysia.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit harder lah. But a good question. Very good question.
I think this question, my next question falls under the same umbrella. How did you make yourself feel like home in a new country?
Oh, with the help of like all of these Malaysian societies, they do help with
try to get more involved.
This specific, issue of wanting to feel like home in a different country. Malaysian societies, they hold events and they meet up and all of these cultural events as well. It kind of reminds you of what it feels like to be home. It like creates this sense of
Belonging.
patriotism as well,
Oh.
that maybe even when you're in Malaysia you weren't as patriotic as you are here in the UK.
Want to know one side fact?
Yeah.
I've never eaten like a lot of kuih before in Malaysia.
Like normal kuih?
Normal kuih.
Ketepun pelita?
No.
Apa balik?
Yes. Like cemik molek.
Cemik molek?
Yeah.
You've never eaten
I
cemik
called my
molek?
mom. No, the story is I went to Baki's house, right?
Yeah.
And they made cemik molek. I'm like, oh, this is like kuih in Malaysia. So I eaten it. Oh my god, it is so good. I eaten it before, but it's different.
It's different.
In the UK. Right? Moving on to the next question. Which grocery stores are the best and affordable for students, and why do all of you guys go to Aldi?
I would recommend going, if you're looking for more affordable options, Lidl and Aldi.
Yeah, Lidl. I always go to Lidl.
Hence why she asked why a lot of people go to Aldi is because it's cheap.
Yeah, if you have the money,
Then you can
go to Morrison's,
level up. No, before Morrison's you level up and it's Sainsbury's and Tesco.
Tesco,
Asda.
Asda. Hey, Asda is quite cheap by the way.
If you're feeling bougie, you can go to Morrison's,
Yeah.
Waitrose.
Next question is, what kind of bank do you use? This is a very quick one.
I use HSBC UK.
And me, I use Lloyd's.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to our last question.
Last question
Yeah,
dah.
it was such a fun segment. by the
Okay.
way. How do you commute? Is the rail link easy to understand?
Like for me, we commute using buses.
Versus stagecoach.
And then if you want to go like outside of the city, we have trains.
Yeah.
The schedules for the trains are quite
Frequent.
frequent. So yeah, it's
It's very efficient. If you
Yeah.
want to go to a place, you can go by public transport. You don't need to buy a car
yeah.
or anything.
But thank you. That's the end of the segment.
That was quite a fun segment, by the way. Fortunately, it has come to an end. But it's okay. The next question that I prepared for you is, are you prepared for what happens after graduation? I know it's a bit early for that, but come on, you need to think about it. And like, what plans have you made?
It's not that fun of a question actually. It's more of like an adulting question.
Yeah.
For me, I think there's a lot of options that I have to take into consideration. Obviously, I've always talked to you about how like I want to apply for internships
Yeah.
and gain working experience because you know in the media field, I feel like for me personally it would be more beneficial if I had a bit more experience. I'm still in second year, so I still have 1 year to think about it. However, there's always options again, one of which is the option to take the graduate route. Have you heard of the graduate route?
No.
Basically, it's something that I stumbled across quite recently lah. The graduate route is under the United Kingdom, and basically what it is, it's a route specifically for international students, and after you graduate, you are allowed this period of time where you can stay in the UK after you graduate, but before you pursue your permanent job, you're allowed to stay in the UK to gain experiences, working experiences, maybe internship placements, anything that you feel could up your resume, your CV. If you're like me and you're planning to do a bit of like internship placements and stuff like that, I think the graduate route is definitely one of the options that you can consider. And I don't know, I feel like it's very interesting to think about. And it's just an opportunity for students. So this is more towards like maybe second year students, third year students. But even if you're a first year student, you can, know more about these kind of things and maybe prepare ahead for the future.
That's actually quite interesting because I never know about this graduate route. But thank you for informing me and telling the audience. Do they give you a specific role or job to take up, or do you have freedom to search it up for yourself?
So the graduate route, you have the freedom to choose the field that you want to go into. They don't tie you to a specific company or a specific field, just because like you're under their graduate route. So whatever you want to do, as long as you feel like it will benefit you in terms of your career, you can do. And also, you don't just have to take one contoh, like for example, one internship placement or one type of maybe working experience. You can have multiple working experiences as well, as long as you're in that time frame allowed by the graduate route. So, for instance, if you're someone like me, a media student, then you can, venture into internship placements and different working experiences from like different companies, maybe publishing, maybe social media and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not limited to just one thing. And I think I read on the British Council's Study UK website as well, I think, about the graduate route. There was like this feedback that this international student from Hong Kong, I think, and he mentioned that this graduate route is some kind of like a stepping stone, a stepping stool for you to venture into your career field afterwards, just like right after graduating, but before you go into your permanent job. And you know how like the employability rate is a lot higher when you have more working experiences, right?
Yeah.
So I think what the UK government is trying to do is to encourage international students to gain this kind of working experiences. It's one of the routes that they offer to you, but obviously with its own fees.
Would this be something that you personally consider?
I feel like it's a very interesting route to go into. It aligns very well with my plans as of now, because you know how I talk about wanting to charity internships and all of that, even after I finish. So I feel like this could be one of those potential decisions that I make. The graduate route, not only for me, I think you can consider it as well. People at home can consider it, studying abroad in the UK. That's like some of the advantages of after you study in the UK. So yeah, do take that into consideration, and I will take it into consideration myself as well.
It's been a great podcast, I think. It's my first time being the host, and it's my first time being in the podcast. So thank you for inviting me to be the host. But yeah, it's a privilege. I don't think it's right for me to wrap it up because it is not my channel, it is her channel. So yeah, please do the honor.
Okay. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was very informative. I hope it was very beneficial for you guys who have, any doubts of studying abroad, those that are planning to study abroad, those that are very excited to study abroad. We hope that some of the information that we gave was good information. And if you enjoyed this video, do like, subscribe and comment down below. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you soon next time. One, 2, 3. Bye. What are you doing, man? You're crazy. Host podcast. Whoa, what's going on?